All right, we are live.
Oh my God, Badan,
Yes.
your offer has just been accepted.
Great, very exciting.
Oh wow, what comes next?
Definitely.
Join us as we give our top tips into sailing you through that process from offer all the way through to settlement to ease any nerves and lay all of the cards on the table. Stay tuned.
Definitely. All right. Here we are, Monday night Novak news.
Do you know what? This is the first time I've done a Monday night news with you, Badan.
Yes, me too.
This
So
is
very
exciting. And it's the first news I've done in probably 6 months.
So we'll get you back on track. This is always the fun thing that we do.
Yeah, what a great way to start the week, doing a bit of a news wrap and arming all of our viewers with as much knowledge as possible. Knowledge is power.
Definitely.
And one thing that I found over the last handful of deals that I've managed to put together is just that offer process, all the way from placing your offer through to settlement, can be quite daunting, can be quite confusing, and is a little bit nerve-wracking. You're kind of like a fish out of water if you've not done this before. So Badan and I were having a conversation off air and just thought we'd really ease everyone's nerves and do a bit of a step-by-step guide to arm everyone with as much knowledge as possible. But bear in mind, no deal is ever the same.
No,
there is no
definitely.
one size that fits all molds.
Yeah, very much. But yeah, very true. Like Anthony said, it's, if there's someone, just take it, grab your hand and take it through the process. It's always easier because it's a very nervous thing. Everyone's buying a property for the first time or even the second time, and every deal is different. So starting from looking for properties, getting that pre-approval done, and having that offer accepted, because that's what everyone considers a milestone, getting that offer accepted. But what happens after that? So we'll just dive into that a little.
Yes.
So do you want to start with how does someone present an offer?
I was actually just about to call you and say, Badan, this is Anthony from Novak Properties. I'm just calling with regards to the offer that you had made on number 7 at 123 Smith Street. Just giving you some news that the vendor has accepted your offer.
Oh, that's great. Perfect.
Yes.
That's the call everyone waits to hear after making an offer.
So an offer, let's just put it out there. An offer isn't just the price that you're willing to pay for a property. An offer also entails your terms.
Yes.
What are your terms, Badan, for your offer?
For your offer, I think the first one is the deposit. How much deposit are you paying? So it's either there's the buyer's choice, but there's a minimum amount. If it's first-time buyer, you can get out with the first-time buyer scheme, that is 5% deposit. But more the deposit, the stronger your offer looks. For the vendor, you feel that that's a committed buyer, some serious buyer wanting to secure the property. So, but yeah, it's up to the buyer wanting to do 10% or even 20% sometimes, because it kind of goes towards your loan. Next.
So deposit, settlement terms.
Yeah.
So the standard settlement is 6 weeks or 42 days. A shorter settlement is around 4 weeks, or you can have an extended settlement, and those terms are up for negotiation with a vendor. Typically, it will stipulate on the front page of the contract of the property that you're applying for what kind of settlement period the vendor is entertaining.
Definitely. And settlement is something like if you buy a property, it gets sold, and there's like 6 weeks standard, like Anthony mentioned, for the bank to do all the paperwork, officially transfer the entitlement to the new buyer. So 6 weeks is the standard, but in a shorter the better. Some people prefer shorter, some longer. So depending upon that particular sale, like you mentioned, every sale is different.
Yes.
The settlement terms will be different as well, depending upon the sale. And I think the next one would be unconditional or 5-day cool-off.
Now, this gets everyone. When I ask them, will you need a 5-day cool-off period? Or is your offer an unconditional offer, or in real estate jargon terms, a 66W?
Big difference.
So, Badan, can you explain to our viewers what is the difference, firstly, between an unconditional offer and an offer that entertains a 5-day cool-off period?
All right. So with 5-day cool-off, which is, I think, fairly common as well. So you exchange the contract, but you have 5 days to do your due diligence. So in that time, you can do your starter report, have a scan through that, send the contract to the solicitor. The solicitor can scan through what's in there. Is there anything concerning? Anything you have to change? have your second inspection, third inspection, all that in that 5-day period. But in the 5th day, that's when the deposit has to be transferred and everything has to be done by the bank, and the solicitor will exchange it. So you have that 5-day, does have that advantage, but in that 5 days, the property will still be on the market. However, the owners can't take any offers. But unconditional, that's a very strong aspect that kind of puts your offer above the rest of them. So unconditional, as the term says, straight away, there's no 5-day cool off. You have done your due diligence, the contract is ready, you have been through the start report, and the property is going to get sold to you straight away without having anything in the middle.
I think the best way to kind of think about it is with an auction campaign. You do all of your due diligence before the auction. Your solicitor will talk to the vendor solicitor to make any agreed changes to the contract. And then as soon as the hammer falls in your favor, you sign the contract and the property is yours. That's effectively like what happens with an unconditional sale of a 66W. Both of the solicitors and the vendors solicitors have spoken, made agreed upon changes, and marked up that contract ready for you to sign unconditionally with your deposit as well.
Definitely. Yes, I think that's the simplest term that we can explain this.
Yes.
Because for us, like hearing that every day, unconditional 66W is a normal for us. But when a normal person, a first home buyer, hears that, they'll be like, oh, what's 66W? That's a weird number for them. For us, it's normal. So the simplest way, 66W means like you have already done all of your work to buy the property, contract, start report, building and pest report if you're buying a house, and you just want to sign and get it sold and get it off the market as soon as possible. And you can use that card very wisely, unconditional, you can, to secure the property.
So offer accepted, and then we would go into exchanging the contracts. And that's why we've kind of given you a bit of an explanation into what that exchange looks like, whether it's a 5-day cool-off period or whether it's an unconditional sale or a 66W. Offer accepted, exchange contracts will need a deposit as well. So the deposit, again, would be reflective of what you've put forward in your offer, whether it's 5%, whether it's 10%, and what your terms look like. So if it is that unconditional offer, we'd need your deposit before we exchange that contract. If it's in a 5-day cool-off period, we would need 0.25% in the beginning to exchange the contract, and then we would need the balance by the end of the 5th day into our trust account. So that would be either 4.75, 9.75, whatever your deposit is, less the 0.25%.
Definitely, that was very nice and clear. So deposit has to be cleared if you want to get the property towards your name, which is fair square. If you're buying something, you got to pay the money. The idea of getting that offer accepted with that unconditional, that's very crucial too sometimes.
One thing to note as well, look, just because a vendor has accepted your offer, the property remains on the market until it's exchanged. So until we actually execute that exchange between yourself and the vendors and exchange those contracts, the property's still on the market. So sometimes an agent can be perceived as being really pushy because there are other offer makers, there are other interested clients working in the background to come forward with an offer. So we're trying to act on your best behalf so you don't miss out on the property. We want to exchange it quickly so that the vendor is locked into your offer. Yeah,
and there's a fairly fine line there too. Like us as agents, like getting an offer accepted, it's a big thing for us too, because we have done all the hard work, made the property ready for the market, that did advertisements up and home, and we have that good offer that the vendor is willing to accept. And if we get you guys moving quickly, then it helps you guys as well in the same time to secure the property, because it's an open market. Anyone come in anytime and just swoop in and get in ahead of that offer, which has happened plenty of times too.
It has.
So there's a fine line with trying to get you guys along the process. Sometimes it's like you're really grabbing them to like, why is this guy calling you so much?
Do you know, one thing I've just noticed in that whole spiel you were giving the Don, I just love your accent and the way you say advertisements or advertisements.
All right, good to know. With different people, like it's a different sale, different people.
So offer accepted, let's exchange contracts to take the property off the market. But what happens after that? We've exchanged contracts. What's next?
What's next? Most of the people don't think that it's sold, I can get access straight away.
No.
There's a long process there.
Yes. So that's when we enter our settlement period. Now, more often than not, whatever bank you're going through will want to do a valuation of the property. So some more often than not, again, sometimes it can be an online desktop valuation, or whatever bank you're going through might want to actually do an in-site inspection. So expect to receive a call from Badan, from myself, from whoever you're dealing with in order to arrange that valuation. So we'll just need to know whether or not it will be a desktop valuation or whether or not it will be something in person. So we'll need to align access into the property to get that valuation over the line.
And it's something very crucial, at the same time very easy to miss as well, because the bank won't follow up because they have like millions, zillions of buyers that buying a property. So you as a buyer has to take that upper hand and say to call the bank, hey, when's the valuation happening? And is it on site or via desktop? So that has to be very crucial. And since there's someone living there, possibly, you want to be in touch with that agent that you're dealing with and organize that access so the bank valuation can be done nice and smooth. And I think next process now would be pre-settlement inspection.
Look,
So,
it's pretty smooth up until settlement after there. So the
Yeah.
valuations come in really strong.
Yeah.
Your finances are over the line. The bank is happy with your purchase and happy to loan you that money. And then it's pretty smooth just before settlement.
Yeah.
So sometimes purchasers would like to go in for a bit of a measurement inspection. That's quite common these days, which is completely understandable. It's a chance to go in, see the property, do a bit of a measurement, and mark up the spaces you might want to be buying new furniture. Bear in mind, the vendor does not need to allow you access for a measurement inspection. This is something that they're doing as a kind gesture in order for you to move into the property in the coming week or so.
Definitely. And with pre-settlement, that's when you actually come in. It's like a mandatory thing. It's obligated. So you kind of get a chance to have a look at the property. And in pre-settlement inspection, I know you already have a look at the property. You had the offer. You made a serious thought about the property. But in pre-settlement, you just want to come in and have a look and make sure it's exactly the same like you when you made the offer. So, like Xanthony and I were talking, make sure the roof has not fallen, make sure the floor is still there, and the property, everything is still there. Few minor cracks and still, all those minor stuff, considering the age of the building, they might be there. And you might have noticed that when you're doing inspection as well, but not anything major.
So the intention of a pre-settlement inspection is it's your last chance before we hand over the keys to you to make sure the property is in the same condition upon settlement as when you first purchased it. So yes, making sure a roof hasn't collapsed, that a pipe hasn't exploded and the property is suddenly flooded, that a door hasn't fallen off its hinges. But Badan, what would happen if I was to go into a property during my inspection and I notice a few things that I'm not really happy with that certainly weren't there when I first put my offer on that property?
So yes, that it's very likely to happen too, because the property either is someone living there or it's a vacant property. If it's vacant, there is a good chance something might happen and no one might be around. And if someone living there, well, you never know. Things might happen. There's people, mistakes happen. If something is likely to be there that you're not satisfied with, you straight away call the solicitors and mention to them direct, this is what's in the property and you're not happy with it. And there will be different clauses in the contracts, like, what happens with things like that if the buyer is not satisfied with the current state of the property. So you can either the settlement gets moved a few days behind until the owners gets the chance to fix that particular issue. And once everything is satisfied and with everyone's agreement, the property will definitely get settled.
Take photos, send them to your solicitor. They will guide you through that process as well. They might be able to figure out or negotiate some kind of monetary exchange from the vendor in order to fix X, Y, and Z that is suddenly different to when you first purchased it. But it is, again, just to make sure the property is in the same condition as when you first purchased it. And it's your last chance to get through the property before settlement takes place and we can hand over those keys.
Definitely. So that's all in all. Could be your normal step-by-step process. Offer accepted, get the contract exchange, bank valuation, pre-settlement, and settlement.
Okay, so day of settlement.
Yeah, what happens?
It is the final day. We're about to release that marching band. We've got a drum roll happening for you. We've got a confetti gun ready to explode in order to congratulate you for your property purchase. But settlement, when does that take place? What happens there? So settlement typically takes place anytime after 2 p.m. It all just depends on the run of settlements in each of the solicitors' run throughout that day.
Yes. And also you want to make sure you call your bank and let them know settlement's happening at this day and this time, because they have to approve your loan and do all the due diligence on their end as well. Because it's finance stuff and legal stuff that has to happen on the exact same day and time, so that the settlement takes place nice and smooth.
Yes.
So yeah. And after that's done, it's all happy days.
When settlement takes place, as agents, we actually can't just give you over a key and say, oh, yeah, settlement day today, here you go. We need to receive a document from the solicitors called an order on the agent.
There you go.
And what this is, it's a legal document that authorizes the real estate agents to hand over the keys to you.
Yeah, exactly. So that's very important as well. Lots of the buyers think settlement day, nice and breezy, I'll just go and collect my keys from the real estate agent's office.
Yes.
But there's some legal stuff that we have to wait that officially says, yes, the matter has settled, and we can get, you can pass on the keys or release the funds. So yeah, all in all, I think
I think that's just in general a very, very vague idea as to how that process takes place, all the way from offer accepted through to settlement. Some of our top tips would be talk to your real estate agent. Absolutely. They will guide you through the process. Make sure you're also communicating with your bank. Make sure you're communicating with your solicitor. Be on the ball and have calendar notes in your phone so you know when everything's taking place. You know when settlement is, and then a week before that, start talking about a pre-settlement inspection, and just following that process, making sure all your ducks are lined up and in order.
I think communication is the key. If you ask the right questions and are in constant communication, even though everything is going smoothly, just check in with a solicitor, your broker. Hey guys, just checking in, everything is okay. Just that little email, a little text could save you from anything that's going to come up. So I think that's pretty much, we covered everything. And like we mentioned before, every sale is different.
Every single sale is different. There, like I said in the beginning, there is no one size that fits all. But you know what? It's a fun process. In that 6 weeks in the settlement, let's just say 6 weeks, start to build yourself up. Get excited. You're moving into a new home, and you should be really proud of yourself for making a purchase.
Then after the settlement happens, from every weekend looking at properties, every weekend you're going to Bunnings and doing some repairs.
No, don't forget about us. You keep us in the loop with what you're doing with your property, because we have a vested interest as well.
Yeah, what's going to happen. So I think that's the best we have in order to help you guys from offer accepted to settlement. And if there's any further details you would like to know, we're always here to help. Feel free to give us a call.
24/7.
24/7. That's what it is. I think that's pretty much it from my end. Anything you want to add?
No, thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you on the next Monday Novak News.
Novak News. All right, here we go. We'll play.